We're back at the farm. Last time you saw the Karmann Ghia, we took the body off of this, and since then, we've had it sandblasted. This was a huge deal. I had a guy come out locally with a truck. I was able to roll the entire thing on the rotisserie out into the field, and he came and he sandblasted all of it inside out. It was fantastic. And so now, it's in shape for me to start actually doing the body work. And so I think today we're really gonna start digging in, but I have to honestly say that I'm a little bit terrified because the sandblasting revealed a lot of stuff. I mean, I knew a lot of this was there, but a lot of this is just completely gone. So I'm gonna have to end up cutting out bigger chunks than what I was expecting. But I think the first thing we're gonna do is take this body filler, which this is the last body filler on the car, and get rid of it and see what's actually underneath it. And I can already see that there's like a really big dent right here. And so we're gonna work on pulling that thing out.
Car's naked now.
Naked. Also, after sandblasting, I wanted to point this out. I put on this stuff called Afterblast. It's like some sort of acid, I don't remember what all's in it. But basically it creates a zinc coating, phosphoric zinc phosphorus, zinc. It's got zinc in it. I don't remember. It puts a coating on it after blasting so it won't flash rust. So this kind of gray is that little bit of coating. And if you just scuff it, you end up with like a nice looking flat metal. I already scuffed this section, so you can see that's what it's gonna end up looking like. So I should probably go ahead and do that just so I know exactly what I'm working with. Got a flap disc. Well, it's not a flap disc. It's like a stripper disc. I'm gonna see if this will just break it off. It's for stripping paint and stuff, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking for the lowest spots. All right, so this thing,
Glue gun.
this is a giant glue gun. This is a spot welder, like a stud welder. And these little studs, you stick them in here. And then and this thing is called a slide hammer. And you hook it on there. And then when you pull it, kind of cam it down on there, so now it's grabbed. And then you slam this back and it pulls the stud. And it's way better.
What do you do with the little studly bits when you're done?
You just bite them off.
Have a snack.
Cut them and then grind them flat. Ooh. Man, if this pulled the whole section out, that would be really cool. All right, so this is better. There's still a pretty far way to go to actually get rid of, like, there's still a lot of work here, but getting these little dents in the top section are one thing. The lower section of a car like this, it gets really bad really quickly. They always rust out along the bottom. In fact, you can see like, there's like a big giant hole right there, and there's a really big giant hole right there. So this entire thing has to come out. Like, I've got replacement parts for it, but we also have to replace these kind of lower sections, these quarter panels, pretty much all the way around the car. So this big section, the back corner on both sides, and then up here, this one's okay, but there's a through hole right in there. So this has got to go. And then this is all right. But then when you look underneath here, you've got all of this stuff that's completely chewed up. There's big holes up inside here. Those are gonna get patched. But I do have several body panels that I've purchased that are replacements for all of these little bottom sections. So I have to figure out how to do this because I really have no idea. But I'm gonna take these body panels, hold them in place, trace their outline where they're gonna go, and then we can start figuring out how to cut out the old stuff to put in the new stuff. So this is one of the panels. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's like formed correctly. It's all primed and nice looking. And basically it just replaces that whole section right there. And apparently there is panel adhesive that is a 2-part epoxy glue where you can glue these panels on. And that's what people are doing nowadays. You can weld them on, you can glue them on, and everybody who does one will say that their option is the best option. So I really don't know which one to do, so I'm gonna try both. But before we do any of that stuff, I've gotta get these fit, mark where they're gonna go, cut out the old stuff, and then put a flange, like a lower section that this part can sit on so that the outer surfaces are flat. So I think I know what to do, but before I can put this on, this whole section has to go. So we're gonna go ahead and cut out basically from here to here and really start destroying this car.
All right.
What in the world? Like, why did I start this? Yeah, it does. Okay, I've done a lot of stuff since last time we shot stuff out here. Last time we cut this out, but since then I've actually cut out body panels and completely removed the bottom of the heater channel, this whole section down here. And as it was coming out, other chunks were just coming out. So I found that I'm missing like an entire piece down here. There's a whole piece in here that I didn't know was gonna be destroyed, that's destroyed, so I've got those on order. It's turning into a situation where like the more I dig, the more I realize I have to dig further, and so far it feels like this entire thing has been like a downslope and I'm kind of ready for the, stuff to start coming back up and going back together. But I did fix one thing, kind of. There was a hole here for the antenna to come out, and I don't need an antenna anymore. So I did my first attempt at making a patch panel. I cut it out, made a panel to fit in, welded it. Now, there were some problems with it. In welding, I found that I was putting too much heat and it sucked this area in. So it kind of dips down a little bit, but I went ahead and got it like as clean as I can get it without taking off too much material. I sealed it on the backside so water won't be able to get in it. And after I prime it, I'll body fill this and it should be nice and smooth. But it was like a good place to start because I have a whole lot of this type of stuff to do.
Whole lot.
A whole lot. Ha! There's like one little weld. Right?
Can I see it? I don't know if
You can't see it. There's one weld right there that I have to take out that I can't get to without destroying this.
I can't see
I don't want that. Okay, well I'll have to cut a much more then, I suppose. Yeah. Should definitely get a shot of that pile over there. All right, so I'm kind of at a weird spot here with the car because I keep thinking that every day I come out, I'm gonna get to the bottom of something. And then I can start putting things back. And I was out here last week pretty much every day. and I'm still cutting things out. It's a little bit frustrating because it feels like I'm just never getting all the way in to where I can start putting in new parts and work my way out, which is a little discouraging and worrying as I go to put this whole thing back together. But I think I'm finally at a point where I can start putting, or I'm close to a point where I can start putting something back in. I've got the heater channels, which is like the innermost part of the car, is almost fitting. And if I can get that in, even just clamped in place, that will give me a reference point to start building everything else on top of, I hope. I don't usually get discouraged about things, and I'm not really discouraged, but it just feels kind of like I keep digging in, and I have to turn around and start digging my way out. I'm just not there yet. So, I don't know. I don't really have a message here, except that I guess you have to go in really far before you can start coming out, and that's where I'm at. So if you get discouraged with a project, keep digging. Eventually you'll figure out how to get out of it. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do my best to get this piece fit. And if I can get this piece fit, then I feel like I will have turned around in the cave and I'm on my way out. At least on one side of the car. And then I gotta deal with the other side. Okay, since the last thing we recorded, I've been wrestling with this thing a lot. And I've found that the thing that I'm most afraid of is doing the wrong thing early that will cause a problem later on. I'm trying to get this heater channel put in without any real reference points, and I'm tired of being scared of it. So, I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna move ahead. And so I'm actually a little fired up that now I have a path forward. And whether this works or not, doesn't really matter at this point. I just want to do it. After a whole lot of work off camera, I finally mustered up the courage to start putting this thing in. I got it fit. I had to weld some extra panels in. I've had to make little patch panels to fill little spots, and it's all very ugly, which is okay because all of this that I've done so far is going to be covered up. And so it's given me a chance to kind of get over the fear of this whole thing, to practice with the welder, to figure out the settings, to try to make the sheet metal go together like I need to. So we're gonna wrap up this video right here because I still have lots of little stuff to do underneath all this before I cover it up with the actual body. And I have to do the entire exact same thing on the other side. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. Next time you see me in this shop with this car, I'm gonna be covering all this up.
Thunder sounds a bit. Slow it down close and sound like thunder. Use your farty saw instead.
Farty saw! Let go! Please! There's a stud stuck in there.